So Netflix and Paramount are at odds with each other because both companies want to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. And it was announced a couple of days ago that Netflix would be acquiring them for $82.7 billion and that the process would take anywhere between 12 to 18 months. But we just learned recently that Paramount has made a higher bid to Warner Brothers Discovery, and that would be around $108 billion, and they're offering shareholders $30 per share, and that's something that could definitely affect the I guess the negotiations going on between Netflix and Warner Brothers. And for those who don't know, Netflix is only going to be acquiring the film and streaming side of Warner Brothers, not the TV channels like TNT and TBS if the deal goes through. But the thing is, Warner Brothers Discovery, the reason they're up for sale is because the company's in billions of dollars of debt, and they're doing everything they can to try and survive as an entity. And yeah, a lot of people have been asking questions about like the fate of Warner Brothers and I guess some of their IPs and most popular franchises like Batman and Mortal Kombat and all that other stuff. At this point, I feel like the gaming division, like Warner Brothers Games, is going to eventually get cut because I think Warner Brothers had to shut down like three gaming studios within the past year or so because the last couple of games that we got, like the Suicide Squad game and Gotham Knights and whatever, like they were all like flops and pretty much I think that it's one of the reasons why the company lost millions of dollars, and it's one of those things where Warner Brothers Discovery apparently had plans on being up for sale all the way back since 2023 because I believe that the executives from Paramount and Warner Brothers they've been like talking about a potential merger or a buyout or something of that nature. And I think earlier this year, like Paramount had merged with Skydance Media, and I think like the merger was completed like earlier this year. And the thing is, the guy who founded Skydance Media, he's actually tight with President Trump. And the thing is, I think the president he has expressed his displeasure on the whole thing regarding Netflix buying out Warner Brothers Discovery because it might be one of those things where it violates an antitrust law or what have you. And I think it was determined by the FCC that Paramount's merger with Skydance was okay. I don't think the merger between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery has been approved by the FCC. And I don't know, like there are people who have no problem with Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers, and there are other people who are afraid that some of the more popular IPs like Mortal Kombat and anything DC related, Batman, what have you, will end up becoming woke, and then Netflix will ruin it and all that other stuff. And I don't know. Like a lot of people have no idea what's going to happen, and I know for a fact that a lot can happen within the next couple of years because I feel like the trajectory of this country has changed significantly within the past, not even the past decade. I would say like the past like 5 to 6 years. Like it feels like we live in a different world compared to the world we lived in like before 2020. And yeah, I honestly feel like this whole thing is going to get ugly. It's probably going to get nasty. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where um, I guess the executives from Warner Brothers really have to like think long term about the potential pros and cons of accepting, I guess, the offer from either company. And the thing is, I think Paramount had made several offers to Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers turned them down multiple times, and now they're basically raising the stakes. And obviously, because this is mostly about money and finances, and I guess Warner Brothers trying to get out of debt and all that other stuff, and focusing more on filming and streaming and all that stuff. You look at a lot of like the franchises that are popular, like Harry Potter and stuff like that. Those are mainly for like movies and streaming, and obviously the Harry Potter series is worth millions of dollars. So you know, I don't feel like, Harry Potter being on Netflix is gonna hurt the IP or anything like that. Um, Paramount, like if I don't know, Warner Brothers gets bought out by Paramount, I don't see anything really changing like DC or Mortal Kombat. I feel like it's gonna stay the way that it is for the most part. And and yeah, I mean, a lot of people are hoping like that is a thing, and maybe that's the best case scenarios that they go with Paramount opposed to Netflix. But the thing is, I remember at one point a lot of people were saying that Netflix wasn't even like interested, for the most part. At least I've read a couple of articles that stated that Netflix wasn't interested, but apparently they've changed their mind, or apparently the stuff I read was all just clickbait material or what have you. But I don't know. I honestly feel like whatever happens to Warner Brothers, depending on who the buyer is, could affect the fate of Warner Brothers games, because a lot of people feel like Warner Brothers games would have been shut down by now, but it's still a thing. It's just that a couple of studios have gotten shut down. I don't know if Paramount would make any demands of them having them shut down their gaming studio or what have you, because for the most part, the gaming studio, like Warner Brothers Games, has been costing that company millions because their last couple of games wasn't good. And the only real good game that they had within the past few years was Hogwarts Legacy, which did over or made over $1 billion in terms of revenue. It was basically like one of the best games that we got from Warner Brothers in relation to the 2020s decade. So I think that alone would probably be enough for them, for I guess Netflix or Paramount to, I guess, consider not touching, Warner Brothers games or anything like that. But I don't know. I feel like, either way, um, despite who they sell to, like, it's probably going to be a good deal for Warner Brothers Discovery. It's just the gaming division that I'm worried about, because you look at Netflix, they're not really heavy into gaming, they're mostly into streaming. And I think the same could be said for Paramount for the most part, but it really depends on what the company's preferences are, whether or not they see Warner Brothers games as a priority or something to keep running, any longer than I guess necessary. But yeah, I honestly feel like this is just the beginning. We might end up getting more, I guess, bidders who would want to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. And like I've said in the past, this is something that's definitely going to shake up the entertainment industry, and it's definitely something that's going to shake up the gaming industry. And I don't know. It makes me wonder what the future of DC is going to look like. It makes me wonder what the future of the Mortal Kombat franchise is going to look like, because we're supposed to be getting a new Mortal Kombat film next year, and obviously there's a lot of money to be made off of the DC franchise. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens in 2026.